You're listening to Real Estate Coffee Talk. I'm your host, Sarah Hilton, and this is your weekly live coffee date with the who's who from every corner of the real estate industry. Because I am here with the amazing real estate duo. Everyone knows them. Right here. Oh, Shannon Montesino said hi, Jess and Jenny.
Oh, hi, Shannon.
All right. So we're here with Jessica and Jenny Rodriguez. I'm so excited to talk to you girls. I love watching everything you do. And I don't know if you notice this about yourself, but just from like watching stuff you do and also from being around you, you're just like light and like you're like one of those people that just watching you guys and being around you makes you like elevates your, I don't know, your mindset, makes you just in a good mood. It's like being in a shoe store. Like just
thank you. That's like the best compliment.
I was gonna say like being in a flower shop, but I hate flowers. So like being in a shoe store, just I feel better already.
Yes, that's our favorite, shoe stores and bookstores.
Yes. Oh, bookstores. Yes. Okay. The smell of bookstores. They open. I don't know what part of town you guys live in, but they open a new Barnes and Noble, across the street from Concord Mills. Oh. And it's amazing.
We live in opposite
I live
sides.
in Huntersville.
I live in Huntersville.
Okay. Well, you can come up. Okay. So both of you guys. All right. So first, I don't know who wants to kind of take the lead, but tell us a little bit about both of yourselves, how long you've been in the real estate industry.
I'll let you go since you started a couple of months before me.
Yeah. So I started in 2019. I had my daughter, my first daughter. Well, I only have one, but my first child. And I knew that I didn't want to work in an office anymore. So I took pre-licensing when she was a newborn. And on Saturdays, this was before COVID, so we had to go in person. So I
remember. Yeah, it's so much easier.
I went like 8 to 5, something like that, every Saturday. And then I got my license and I joined. We started at Allen Tate in Still Creek. And I think it was April or March I started. And then Jessica came on like May.
At end of April, beginning of May. So I took the class with her. It's Saturdays. I did not pass the first time. So I had to retake the class in Superior, and ended up passing. And our goal was to start off with residential and both become commercial brokers. That was our end goal from the beginning. Right. I was working at American Airlines. I would just work and travel. And then I kind of decided I needed to like, all right, Jessica, I wanted obviously more income, but also like I needed more stability.
Right.
Crazy, which is crazy saying real estate is stable, but but you know, that's so, and plus having the opportunity to work with my sister, we've always, you know, as adults, we've always gotten along, and she had a daughter. I wanted to be more part of like being an auntie and all that. So.
Yeah. Okay. So wait, which one of you is older? I know you're probably on like a year or two apart. But which one is the older sister?
We're 1 year apart. I'm 1 year older. I'll be 40 on Saturday.
What? Oh, girl, welcome to the dark side. Okay, that's what I was curious about. Which one's those? So what were both of you guys doing before this? Well, I know you were working, what were you, like a flight attendant?
No, worked at the airport.
You just worked at the airport.
So that I could use my flight benefits to travel the world. I went to a lot of countries.
So jealous. Okay. So, and then how about you? What were you doing before?
I was a paralegal. So I was a paralegal for a civil litigation firm.
Yes.
So contracts, legal
similar. Yeah. Okay. So you had some familiarity, and it's crazy. I got licensed, I think, in 2019 too. All the years start blending together after a while, but it was definitely before COVID. And it's crazy how much more accessible, like getting your real estate license or at least getting your education got during that time. So it's crazy because I was talking to a girl recently, and same thing. You know, I feel like a lot of women, they get into this for a few things. They don't want to work like all the 9 to 5 stuff, and then also you want to be able to like control. You know, even if you're working for the airline or the airport, it's like you hit a glass ceiling no matter what, right? And so that was part of the reason I got into this, because I was like, I worked at the same job for like 16 years and I was stuck. There was this guy over me that was like, what's the nice way to say? douchebag. Like he was just, I don't know. But anyway, either way, I wasn't getting past him. There
Yeah.
was no way. And I couldn't grow. And I was like, this is going to drive me crazy staying in the same job and salary and ever forever,
Yeah.
So, okay. So you got in, you both started doing residential. So how was that? Were you immediately working together from the beginning, or were you all kind of finding your own path?
From the beginning, since I got my license first and I joined a firm, Jessica just basically, she didn't even interview other firms because it was like she was just going to come and join me.
Right.
And then we sort of were like, we know the same people, and the people that we don't know the same, like we might as well just join forces anyway and market ourselves as the Rodriguez sisters.
Right.
And
Right.
from the very first client,
We've
worked together.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay, so do you feel like, because real estate, it's funny, like when I was doing my classes, whatever, it felt exciting. You just see all the fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
Oh, talk to people, I'm making a lot of money, but it's really a grind, and it's kind of lonely at first because you feel like everyone else is succeeding but you for a little while there. So do you think having each other and like being on that focus plan to keep each other like going and accountable, do you think that made it easier?
I think it did a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think that we definitely were like, okay, if we said we were going to go meet at Starbucks, let's say to work of the day, we would be there because that's what we said we were going to do. And I knew Jenny was going to be there. I knew I had to show up.
Right.
But it also hindered us because we are sisters. So we were like, oh, did you hear what our aunt did yesterday?
Can you believe my mom said that?
I know.
No.
I talk to my sister literally every day about nonsense. Today I was like, can you believe these people? And by these people, I mean all my kids. Can you believe everyone had the audacity yesterday after this crazy weekend to be asking me what's for dinner? Like this is
Yeah.
so yeah, I can see both sides of it. But it's nice just to have someone to keep pushing you through, right? When
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
And I
when
think it
that
also, that dynamic changed. I mean, we still obviously talk when we talk on the phone, we'll talk for like 2-3 hours if we haven't seen each other in a couple of days.
right.
But now that we both do separate, we work together, but we work separately. Like I don't know all her clients. She doesn't know mine, but we still help
Right.
each other if like I need help with the showing, inspection, whatever it is. But now it's easier to hold each other accountable since we have completely different transactions and files. It's like, Jenny, hey, how are your leads coming in this week? Where'd you get your leads from? And vice versa.
Right.
Are we putting them in our dashboard, whatever the case may be?
Yeah, because when we first started, we would take every client and both work that client together. We did all our buyer consultations and listing appointments together.
Right.
And then, we started to grow, and we kind of, even when I was still in residential, we kind of figured that we had to separate somehow because, we needed that growth. And now that I'm just exclusively commercial, we don't, I don't even meet her clients and vice versa. So,
Right.
I mean, to be fair, I don't meet some of my clients either.
I know. So I can't wait to talk about the commercial side because I'm serious. Like I've only seen them. It's a very undiverse. I don't even know that's a word. It's not a diverse thing as far as like who people work. So I don't even. The only person I ever know that works commercial is like one of the ladies that taught my not my post licensing classes. But yeah, I'm so curious to know like that whole side. But let me talk about this. So when you first started, okay, so how was your first year? Like when did you really start to feel like, all right, we got a thing going here. This is working.
2020, probably.
2020.
2019 was slow. So at first I was still working with American Airlines. I got my license. I got married a month later. Then a month after that, I had surgery and had to be out of work for a while for both works. And then so she just had her baby.
Right.
And
so I think in 2019, we might have had
4 transactions.
4 transactions.
Oh, they started towards the end.
And they were,
from August to December.
August 29th, 2019 was our first, it was actually a double closing, was our first closing.
Oh, yes. But that's not bad. 4 for your first year isn't bad. I mean, I know some people, you hear these success stories, but my first year, I got lucky because I had friends that wanted to do buy sell, right? So my first closing was a double 2, and I was like, psh, easy money. Yeah. And then after that, I was like dying. It took me like 6 months to get, and it's hard, like mindset wise, to stay
Yeah.
in the game too, because it's a completely new industry to you. And for me, I struggle with like, I came from something totally separate. I was doing marketing before that. So you get in there and everyone's giving you advice that for me didn't feel like me, right? Like door knocking. I I don't even like, and I'm a people person, but if you knock on my door, no, girl. So like it's so hard to know, like, and then my husband has been in sales forever since he graduated from college. So he was trying to tell me all these things, but they just felt gross. And it took a while to like find my groove.
Yeah.
Yeah, or what worked for you. Okay, so um, what before you got into commercial, right? What do you love, or what did you love most about? And I know you're, Jessica, you're still in. I mean, wait, Jenny.
Yeah, Jessica.
Okay, yeah, Jessica. Okay,
We probably
I know
should
you're.
preface with that. I'm Jessica.
I'm
This is
Jenny.
Jenny. I'm residential. She's commercial because a lot of people get us confused.
Yes, yes. Oh, I always, whenever I'm like tagging Jenny for the commercial thing, I'm like, wait a second. So Jessica. Because some people call you, I've seen them call you Jessie. That's what really throws me off. I'm like, oh God. Okay. Um, would you guys would you girls learn to love most? Like, what'd you really love about residential real estate?
Besides the commission?
Yeah. Well, that's a big plus, like getting paid.
I mean, I think deep down, like we both really like the helping part, helping people. I mean, how many closings have we cried, when the clients close?
Right.
So I think that's probably the main thing,
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that aspect. Like I work with some investors, but I love working with like people, families that are buying their home or selling their home. I love the emotional side of things, which is why
Yeah.
I did not like commercial.
Yeah. Which, okay, so that's good. So, well, Isabella Desma said, and both of your names start with J. Yeah, that's
Yeah. And so does my brothers, our brothers.
do they? Oh my gosh, I love that. Me and my sister are so close in age, but our people still get us confused. But our names aren't alike at all. Okay, so commercial. So how long into the residential journey did you decide to kind of branch off or go explore that side of it?
So we both decided to go because that was always our end goal.
Right.
So we both got into commercial at the same time, right after COVID, right after like things kind of started opening up. COVID I think it was for every agent that worked COVID. I mean, we made a lot of money, but it was really, really stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, I realized like it took me a lot. It took a lot of time away from my family because I had to be available all the time.
Yeah.
And I hated it, honestly. Like I really did hate that. So right after that, we got to a commercial firm. They did both. It was like they had two branches basically, and we started in commercial, and Jessica and I both started. So that was 2021.
Yeah, we did a training program.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how was it? So I've heard like on the commercial side, it takes a lot. I know it takes a lot longer to close a deal, but how do you go about even finding clients for that?
So my main source of clients are referrals from residential agents. So having being a residential agent before, I think really helps because I obviously have those relationships with residential clients. We're with EXP, so a lot of EXP, internal referrals with EXP. We have a Facebook group of just realtors, Latina realtors, and I get referrals from them. But the majority of my clients are from residential referrals. And also I'm part of a networking group of women in Lake Norman area. And so like on Facebook and stuff, they tag me. So those are my two biggest lead sources are resi agents and social media.
Oh, that's good to know. Because every time I see, what do you call it? Commercial.
Yeah.
I know it helps.
And it's way less of a freaking Shark Tank than
Oh,
residential,
yeah.
man. Like when someone tags residential, I'm like, oh Lord, here we go.
I don't even tag her when people tag residential agents. I'm just like,
Yes.
unless it's something super
I'm
specific, like Spanish speaking or like
right.
Plaza Midwood, Villa Heights. I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of like
That's
her
her thing.
thing.
Yeah.
But if it's just like I'm looking for a realtor, I'm like, okay, here you go.
Yeah.
500
I know.
comments.
I know. It really is like it's like that. I forgot there's a book that talks about like red water and blue water. You know what I mean? And it's like that is red water, those Facebook groups. I'm like,
Yeah.
whew, Lord, scary.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the commercial, so I know you, Jessica, ended up not. What did you not like about the commercial side? Was it
It took me a year to realize how much I didn't like it. It's so funny.
right?
I hadn't realized. So 2022, it was a tough year for me and
Yeah.
just like personally. And
Right.
I started like at the end of 2022, I was like, all right, I need to figure out what I need to do to change to get me out of like this miserable like mindset that I was in. And I was like, all right, journaling, making a list. And I was like, what don't I like? And I was like, oh my God, I hate commercial. Like, I don't like it. And I do like helping the family businesses. I realize that Jenny has a couple clients that are actually like franchises but they're family.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I love that. So I realized that I was like, I love the emotional. I don't like that. Even though I have helped clients that I haven't met before, because like, let's say they're moving here from New York or something.
Right.
I've helped them and not met them before in person. But I really like that. I just like the relationship behind that I build with my clients. I like the emotional side. I don't like just having to look at properties from behind a computer screen and looking at numbers.
Right.
I don't love that.
Which is my favorite part.
Yeah.
Yes, and that has to be in you because I'm like you, Jessica. Like I have to be. I get like it's like a drug, like being around people. I'm like, whoo, like a good drug.
Yeah.
Nope. But like it just like fills me up, like I think if I worked from home for 12 years and if I could change that, I did it for a reason. I was a single parent, my kids were small, and so I like got to be there, right? But it really sucked me dry because it was like it was it was depressing. It was just depressing. I didn't live with any other adults. My kids were small at the time, and so it's good that you were able to recognize that and choose the thing that because if you're going to be doing something like residential real estate, which it is crazy, it does demand a lot of your time. So if you don't truly love it, then great, be on that
Yeah.
side. But if you love it, then you're willing to take kind of like the good and the bad with it. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
and it's the perfect little match. I love
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, she's like the Excel sheets person, and I'm like,
Yes.
woo, let's go.
Yeah, people, let's go. Okay. All right. So Jenny, so when people like think about commercial, right? I think a lot of people, because same for me in 2020, I got into real estate thinking, okay, it'll be flexible. And 2020, 2021 ended up, I mean, is the same. I was like constant. I missed so many things that were important to me that I can't get back because I had to. And I'm not mad at my client, like they
Yeah.
needed someone in that market. They needed that. But I hated it, right? So now on this side, like I know it, I guess like what are some of the challenges? Because everything has its challenges, right? So what are some of the challenges with commercial that you found?
So the biggest one I think is when I started so residential agents, like you said, even on the Facebook groups, everybody knows it, residential agent. You're a new agent and people aren't gonna you're not gonna put in an offer as a new agent and have that listing agent be like, oh, I don't know who Sarah Hilton is. She must be a new agent. I mean, there's so many of us.
Right.
In commercial, it's not. It's very much that you deal with the same people over and over again. And so, I mean, you can ask any commercial broker, like they'll see a residential agent and they won't answer their email back. They won't answer their phone because they just don't want to deal with someone who doesn't know what they're doing. So for the first part of switching over, I mean, it like our business took a dip because of that transition. Because I could get clients. It was the matter of like being able to find them, especially when I do a lot of tenant representation. So especially finding their spaces, commercial brokers weren't responding. And actually, Jessica gave me the idea, and we actually went to commercial offices local here with a card, with my business cards, like a handwritten note and some macaroons, and just like introduce myself. And like, I'm not going anywhere. Like,
Right.
my emails, like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess from one side, I can see that because sometimes I've seen people try to, and I'm sure you've seen it, right? People that try to dip their toe into a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's scary enough to come out of real estate school. And if you think about it now, knowing what we know, just be thrown to the wolves and have this like $500,000 transaction. And you really don't know what you're doing until you do it for a while, right? So
Yeah.
it's crazy enough, but I've also seen people try to dip their toe into the commercial market and probably end up giving that commercial broker a lot more work, right?
Oh, yeah.
But that is always what I've heard is it is a really small world, right? And like it's a very like, well, from what I've seen, like male dominated, definitely.
Oh, it's a good old boy.
Good old boy network, right? So as a woman and as a Latina, what are some of the ways like I mean, I know the macaroons, that'll do it every day. But what are some of the ways like over time that you've been able to kind of push through that?
So besides the macaroons, honestly, it's just been the work, right? So
Right.
now that I have done different transactions and I have had dealt with similar brokers or same ones from or different ones from same firms, like
Right.
now they've kind of seen my work ethic and how I work and professionally. And I think that really has helped, like just doing a couple of transactions and having them see that and having worked with me, that now, like if I do send an email inquiry about a client, they're like, oh, you know what, maybe I don't have something specific, or how about this instead? And that's really honestly what helps, is just like time and doing the work.
Right.
But people send her stuff too now. They'll be like,
yeah.
"Oh, Jenny, I have this coming on the market. Do
Yeah.
you still have this client that needs this?"
See, I love
before
that.
it goes out on the market now, because it's all about, in commercial, it's all about your relationship. It's honestly about your relationship with other brokers.
Yeah.
Right. And Marelia Murillo just commented, she said we need to change that for sure. And here's what I love about that because you were, I don't know if you were the first, but one of the first that I know anyway, definitely Latinas in there, that now it makes it easier for the next one and the next one. And, you know, if you think about it, whatever, 50 years ago, a woman couldn't even get a mortgage, right? And there's always like that first person. So the fact that you're going in there, just imagine like when your daughter is now coming up at that age, hopefully by then that won't be such an oddity though. They'll be like Latina commercial brokers. So
I mean, there are women commercial brokers
Yeah.
that I've dealt with a lot of women,
right.
but I haven't even dealt with the first Latino.
Yeah.
So
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. Yeah. So it's super exciting to be kind of like the first person to do that and like to watch. It's so exciting. That's why I'm always like, come on, girl. Okay. So so I said it when we first came on, right? And you girls are like the definition of women supporting women, right? Like, and that's also another thing. Let me not talk about my real estate trauma, right? But that's another thing that I came from the nonprofit world. So it's very like kumbaya, whatever. And no one's like really in a race to the top. I mean, a little bit, but not like it is on the corporate or the business side, right? And when I got into real estate, I was like, man, these women are like pit bulls. And I get it, you have to be, but just like a few months into the business, I had a girl like unfriend me and block me and talk trash for only because I decided her team wasn't a good fit for me. And I never even took one of her leads, right? So it was like a weird thing. And I'm like, this is so crazy. So like what, how, I guess like what made you so like skilled at that and so passionate about like supporting women in the industry and beyond?
So I think we've always been like pro, like women, let's go. I mean, when we were in college, we both were like super like women rights, and
I minored in women and gender studies.
So we've always had that mindset. I mean, our mom has always like, our parents were together like growing up, and my mom has always just been very like a feminist, I guess, without even knowing it. I mean, she's been
Right.
very much like, you can do whatever you want to do. Like we never talked about our body image. We never had any of those types of things at home. Luckily, our parents shared rules.
Oh, that's
So I think it was
amazing.
just important to us. Like once we got to college and seeing that and learning all that, it was like, wow, like we're getting paid, 10 cents to the dollar to the mail, blah, 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 all these things. So it made us really passionate about it. So when we started real estate, I think one of the things, even though we had like, maybe I'm speaking for myself, like we had a great mentor at the time. Our BIC was very helpful, told us what we needed to do as far as calling leads, lead generating and all that. One thing that we didn't really touch on that much was like our mindset. I mean, we did. The first book I read when I got into real estate was Growth Mindset, and that was like a huge game changer for me because I didn't realize how much of one I did not have. So once we started working on our mindset, and like Jenny and I would like send each other YouTube. We still do. YouTube videos, Instagram videos. Like, hey, watch this. Like, yeah, let's get pumped for the day.
Yeah.
And then we realized like what a scarcity mindset is, and scarcity mindset is basically the opposite of collaboration. Like, guys, there's enough for all of us to succeed in real estate, no matter the market, no matter any of that. People are buying and selling a house every single day. And in Charlotte, we're lucky to live in a market that is so robust. So we just figured, I mean, we have another Facebook group, is like Charlotte Self-Love Club for Women. And we haven't been doing as much stuff. At the beginning, we were doing a lot of like meetups and stuff, and we start doing more. And then we thought of like the Latina real estate. I don't know, one day we were having dinner with our real estate coach, and we were like, let's start that. And at least like
a lot of have like meetup. Like we thought it'd be like coffee, everyone like, hey, we're going to be having coffee here. Let's meet, see who can meet us for lunch. And then it just became like a lot of people were just.
And there were like 500 people in the group, and you're like, wait.
Yeah. And then we had people that would reach out to us like, hey, we want to sponsor your next event. Hey, we want to sponsor. We're like, okay, we had no idea that it was going to turn into that. And I think it's just, I mean, a lot of, Facebook realtor groups are like, holy shit, I'm so sorry. No, I'm so scared to ask a question in there because you're going to get ripped apart. And then God forbid you unanimously because, so like we just wanted to create this safe space, like not only just the meetups, but a safe space where we could be like, ask a question, or like, hey, do you have a Spanish speaking attorney? Do you have
the vendors and stuff?
And like, because a lot of us do deal with like lots of clients that don't speak English. So I think it's just important to, help each other out in that course. So,
and you're right. Like, have you found that it puts you in the position? Because I guess I've always found, like, I always have it in my mind, like when one wins, we all win, right? So like, you're right. Charlotte is a big enough market that I can recommend. There's been times where I've been like, hey, I have my license, but this realtor is the better one for the job, right? So but when you're in these groups, do you find that like having that woman supporting woman, or like just that collaboration and support of each other, that actually like grows your business even more and even faster?
Right? And like even the mentors that we've had, or people that we look up to, even though they don't know us, but we follow them on Instagram or whatever. And like our real estate coach, like our real estate coach is like the 60th agent in the nation. And she's a coach because she's teaching, like, it's all about collaboration. And so it's like the most successful people also teach what they've learned and like from their mistakes, that's why this coaching business is such a huge deal too. But it's like, we've made mistakes. We've done stuff that we wish we probably would have done differently. And a lot of it is like our mindset, and we work on our mindset. We've been working on our mindset for years, and it's still, something that we do every day. And it's like, we want to be able to tell people like, this is what we did wrong, or this is what we did right, and show them that, they can do it too. And we're not, we're not gangs, like, we're just working.
Yes. Okay. And I love that. All right. So let's talk about mindset, because between you and Cassandra, you're the first people that I've like literally been around in my life that talked about like positive mindset and, manifesting, a law of attraction, all this stuff. And maybe you're not the first person I heard it from, but I felt more relatable to you. I'll tell you, before that, I would be like, weirdo, emo. And I grew up in a very like religious home where that's like not, something you do or whatever. So, but But I'm telling you, and I told Cassandra this, whatever, when we went to that Latina realtor event in her community in Moreland Oaks, first of all, I was like, I had a little teary-eyed over there.
Yeah.
But there are not many real estate events where like you leave better than you came, right? And even like talking about watching people and them not knowing, but like even Jessica, I see your like motivation like Monday. I don't know if you have a title for it, but it's just basically like affirmations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love it. So tell me more about like how do you use positive mindset and all that stuff? How do you guys like use it in a tangible way in your business?
It's so I like to write down everything. Like I write down everything. So I think that's the most important thing for that I find. So I write down whatever it is that I want to, whatever mini goals that I want to work on. I always start off with mini goals. So let's say I want to close 20 more houses between now and July 30th or something like that.
Right.
And I'll always write them down. And then if you write them down every day, let's say that later on that day, like you write them in the morning, write them at night. Let's say that afternoon, like I just have like a bad day that day. And I'm thinking like, oh man, my real estate business sucks. Cause real estate is like this, we all know like one minute you're like, I'm on top of the world. The next same day later, I'm like,
right.
I'm about to go bankrupt.
Quitting real estate.
Yeah. Dramatic. But in those moments when I do think, oh my God, I'm about to go bankrupt, being dramatic, I'm like, oh wait, actually, I can still sell. I'm still on track to sell those 20 houses July 30th, blah, blah, blah. Like, and I just have to completely remind myself. And then like I don't know what you focus on, you attract. And like the minute that you switch your mindset, you somehow, something happens, God hears you, the universe hears you, whatever your belief may be. Right. And it just starts happening. Like you start getting leads. Of course, don't get me wrong. Like I don't just sit here and write affirmations and wait for leads to come to me. Right. But I mean, I work on it, and the more I work on it and the more positive I am, the more it works. So anytime I catch myself like going in a bad direction, like I have to sit down quietly, or I'll text her like, "Ooh, I'm having trouble with like believing that I'm gonna like really hit my sales goal," and then like kind of talking it out with her. Like, oh, she'll either hit me back with like an affirmation, or Jessica, you've surpassed your goals so far this year. Come on. And it's like, oh yeah, I have. All right, let's go. Just trying to, you're always going to, I think everybody still will get themselves in a negative space. I think what you learn is how quickly to get yourself out of that space is what the trick is.
And
doing it in like a positive way. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, and it's a daily exercise, right? Like you can't like, today I'm in a good mood. Okay, so that doesn't mean that I don't still have to do something to help my mindset. Like for me, I go to the gym in the mornings, and so it's either silence because I have 2 kids and a puppy. So I'm either driving in silence, or just like kind of talking to myself, usually like positive stuff, or I'm listening to like a motivational YouTube video or like a podcast or something. And that really helps. And I can tell the difference when I'm like, today I'll listen to music, even though music helps too, but it's not the same when you have someone saying, you got this. Like,
I mean, it's like a muscle. You're working a muscle. You have to work it out every day.
Yeah. And so that's why my husband, I said something, I don't even know why I said, he's like, well, maybe you shouldn't listen to your murder podcast as you're going to sleep. Cause I'm like,
she listens to her murder podcast while she's going to sleep, or on her walks outside sometimes.
Oh yeah, me too.
They made me walk.
I like put it under my pillow, and it's like, and then he hacked her lungs out. But what I was thinking of too is like, and I really need to get more into this practice. I haven't made a habit of it, so it's definitely something I really want to do. And the more I talk to people like you, I get excited for it, because I easily slip it. Like people see me sometimes, they're like, "Oh, you're so funny," and whatever. And I'm like, but I easily slip into negativity real fast, right? And I'll go from like 0 to 60. Or sometimes like you can, I think, try to cope with like unhealthy behaviors. Like I'll be like, oh girl, this client was driving me crazy, I need a drink. Or this client was crazy, I'm gonna go buy myself a freaking Junior's cheesecake, right? And like, I can see, instead of you sitting down with a glass of wine or whatever, I would think it would be so much better to sit down and be like, no, I'm still getting my goals. I'm still, whatever it is you're writing down. Like that just reframes your perspective right away. Because when you're drinking, you're just like, yep, that client sucks. Pour one out for him. And you've done nothing good for yourself.
Yeah.
Nothing. So, okay. I love that. All right. So tell us kind of about your work with EXP, this huge mega company, but you guys are some of the Latino ambassadors or Latina ambassadors, or there's a name for that actual group, right?
Yeah, EXP Latino.
EXP Latina.
Okay, it's a Latino. Okay. So you're some of the ambassadors there. So tell us what that is, what it looks like, and all that.
So EXP Latina is, I don't know if you could say it's an organization within EXP, but basically there's ambassadors for each state. So we're actually the ambassadors for the state of North Carolina. And
I love it.
And usually there's like one, unless you're in California, but since we do everything together, we
Yeah.
have ambassadors. We were like, you got to take both of us.
You're like the Siamese twin sisters.
So we applied. You have to, put in your application, do a little video, tell about yourself and what you've done with the community, specifically with the Latino community, which we're involved in anyway, outside of real estate. And so I guess the goal really is to not only improve Latino home ownership, but also attract, I guess, more agents, more Latino agents, more Latino real estate agents. We have EXP has contracts and paperwork that is in Spanish for non-English speaking clients, and then
onboarding can be in Spanish too. So like in states like Florida, I think it might be the only one. Agents can take the test in Spanish there.
The pre-licensing
test. So then we have the EXP offers onboarding in Spanish or even if you speak both languages and you just prefer Spanish.
Right.
I'll do that. So they're just it's just an organization trying to help Latinos, whether it's clients or agents, just work together. And like, it's easier too. Like, okay, might have a cousin in California that doesn't speak English. I just go in our group and it's like, hey, Sarah, can you, I know you speak Spanish. Can you help my cousin? She wants to sell her house or whatever the case may be.
Right. So your like team, like you guys when you like attract, do like agent traction. So your team itself, right? You can, when you bring people up under your downline, whatever, they too have access to all of that through EXP and all that.
Anybody can be part of EXP Latino.
Okay. We want people in your downline.
Okay. Oh yeah. But anybody,
we're just a
representative,
the ambassadors.
So we want to start. We're supposed to start having agent get together with all the agents in North Carolina. Just get together, have events, just so that we could just know each other and get to know each other more because we're so big.
Yeah.
Right. Or we didn't even know about it when we joined DXP until we went to NAREP convention last year. Yeah. And Jenny used her EXP email to sign up for NAREP. I didn't. Yeah. And we got invited to an EXP Latino lunch and we're like, what is this? Oh. And then that's when we actually learned about it because, EXP is just so big and there's so much information out there. Yeah. It's kind of hard to sometimes, especially since we're the only Latinas in our upline, downline, other than our downline now, right? Yeah. So we didn't have anybody to point us in the right direction. Yeah. So
and that's so nice because it's easy to get lost and as many benefits there are to a big brokerage, it's so easy to get lost. So it's so nice for you guys, but also people coming up under you if they could find their little niche in there. So this is exciting. Okay. So where will Jessica and Jenny be 10 years from now? Besides both in your 40s.
Oh my God, I'll be 50.
You'll be 49 about.
Yeah.
Oh, I will be
probably not selling real estate.
Okay.
I hope to be a referral agent by then.
Love it.
I mean, I think one of our biggest goals, and it always has been, is to grow either our team or a downline too. Right. For that whole being able to collaborate and give people, that our knowledge and helping them grow. We really do believe that everyone should be successful. So I think in 10 years we would have a lot of agents working with us to refer and collaborate with. I'm also a real estate investor, so that's where I plan on getting my money from.
Investing.
Yeah.
So we hope to be making money passively or less hands off than like actually selling real estate.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so
Which I love because you guys have, I've probably mentioned in every show, but it's so bizarre to me how, and I know you've seen it, how many realtors have been in this 20, 30 years. My husband, my husband works for New York Life. So he was at some networking event actually down by in your little area, Villa Heights, Plaza Midwood. And he came home, he's telling me about, he was like, man, you should see the people here. He was like, there was some real estate agent. He's like, she was a douche, right? And I'm like, ooh, who was she? Give me a but like he said that she was like, oh, you know, business is slow. Like so many people have been in this for a long time and they've created a job, which is fine if that's what you want to do. But like they've still been in it and are riding that roller coaster. It's like roller coasters in real life. When I was young, that was really fun.
yeah, exactly.
But then like the older I get, I'm like, no, skip that one. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
I want to be the one that's like sitting down watching everyone else do it now, right? And like I think after all that time, it kind of sucks to not have built like a business. I love your goal, like just sitting down, referring them out, building a team, putting your passion in, and having a business instead of like
Working,
constant
yeah, or
advertising.
working in the business. I mean, it's kind of like what our coach. So we joined EXP because of our coach. We happen to be working with her. She had to be a part of EXP. She's not. She doesn't. She's not an active broker. She just does referrals. But the reason why, I mean, we love that because that's she. So she coaches us. She coaches anybody in her downline, and then we're starting to do group flips in our downline. She teaches you how to sell one. I mean, buy one at least one rental a year.
So the goal is however long you've been in real estate, that's how many rentals you should have.
Oh,
because you know in real estate there's no 401k, right?
Yeah.
There's no retirement plan like you would in a normal job, so you have to figure that out on your own. And so those ways obviously is through real estate investing.
And it's not always easy money. I mean, people got, I think like just from watching, people got really comfortable that upward trajectory, right? 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
And probably didn't do what they were supposed to do during that time. And that's exactly the difference between a job and building a business. So I love that you guys have that. So that's awesome. Okay. So follow the Rodriguez sisters on Instagram at instagram.com/the Rodriguez sisters _ right? Did someone else have the regular Rodriguez?
Yes. We try to contact them. They don't even use it.
That drives me crazy. Okay, so don't follow those Rodriguez sisters. Follow these Rodriguez sisters, the Rodriguez sisters _ or you can just go to zenrealestategroup.com. Of course, if you have any referrals in North Carolina, Charlotte area, Jessica knows that whole thing. She just did that beautiful house you had listed close.
Yeah.
Oh, I was obsessed with that. Okay. So she knows her stuff down there. And then, of course, all your commercial stuff. Even if you're in Charlotte, which a lot of these listeners are in Charlotte, go ahead and send all your business to Jessica. And definitely watch their Instagram. I'm telling you, they go and like you just feel light watching their stuff. They're super positive. You're never going to see like negative energy. So I love it.
Thank you.
Let's do some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
You may have different answers. We'll see. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Ah, I love you girls. Okay. Netflix or podcast?
Netflix.
Ooh.
Even though I don't watch TV anymore.
Yeah.
I miss it.
But you would not.
I don't have kids.
I know. So I grew up never watching TV. So I'm like 20 years behind on like pop culture. My husband will be like, oh, do you remember this? And I'm like, oh no. He was like, how old were you when this song came out? It was that song, Informer. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, well, I think I was like in 5th grade, but I'm not sure if it came out then or if like that was the first time I got to go to a friend's house and sneak it to listen to. We weren't allowed to listen to anything that wasn't Christian radio. So, okay. Was it summer or winter?
Summer.
Neither one.
You have to pick one.
Summer.
Summer. Good girl. Okay. Let's see. Going out or staying in?
Staying in.
100%.
100%.
Oh my gosh. I would not have picked you guys like that. That's so funny. I love it.
I have to force myself to go out.
Yeah.
So like,
I need to work out my energy.
All the time. Work up. I know. Well, seriously, thank you so much for coming on. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see you guys again. I know I missed the last couple of Latina realtor things, but let's do another one.
Yes.
And Marbelia commented and said, we need to talk Rodriguez, ladies.
Okay.
But anyway, all right, girls. Well, have a nice day. Thank you so much. Remember to follow them.
Thank you so much for having us.
No problem. I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Real Estate Coffee Talk. If you enjoyed it, please take a moment to subscribe and leave us a review. It really helps. If you'd like to be featured on the show, you can get that information right in the show notes. Be sure to tune in next week for another new episode. And until then, keep your dreams big and your mugs full. See you next week.